So I'm thinking about what life must be like in many other countries out around the world. And I'm thinking about how awkward and difficult and complicated it is to make life work in England. And we have peace and we've had a long period of time developing, getting more sophisticated in how we govern the nation. And I'm thinking there are so many countries around the world that have very different histories to us. Very complicated, very difficult, combative. They have wars and they have famine and all kinds of problems in so many countries around the world. So I don't know, there's no way that these countries can function. I don't understand how they function at all. How does a country like Botswana or Azerbaijan or even Bolivia or Egypt or whatever, some countries I suppose are fairly stable or whatever, but I can see how complicated it is to run a country. The number of issues is just staggering. It's just amazing that countries function at all. I mean, even peaceful countries that have a time to develop education and whatever and run their economies sensibly and not be involved in wars all the time and stuff like that. And not have to deal with the weather, really awkward weather. Don't have to deal with famine, don't have to deal with flooding or drought. There's all kinds of things, all kinds of problems that Britain has avoided. And so we're very fortunate for that. But there are so many countries around the world that I wouldn't want to be living in. In fact, the vast majority of countries I wouldn't want to live in. And I know I'm very fortunate to be living in England. And I just find it amazing that these other countries can find a way to survive, to make progress. Because it's phenomenally difficult to run a country. It's just, there's just an awesome number of problems. So how they manage it, I don't know. How does a country like Azerbaijan or Cambodia, how do they manage their economies and feed the population and provide power and computing and internet or healthcare? It's just staggering what needs to be in place to run a country properly. So I'm thinking that the lives that so many millions of people around the world have must be so awful. And it explains why there's wars and stuff going on between nations. It's because life is really difficult. And Britain has got great control of itself and has come through a lot of problems, but there's so much stability here, and so the population can flourish. But so many other places around the world that have to deal with bad weather and pestilence and bad geography, really awkward lives. So I am very glad to be living in England, and I do see how life could be really awful in so many places.